He's your chairman of the board of directors. That's James Marsh, Esquire. Everybody make some noise. Give it up for James Marsh. Coming up to start it off and light it on fire for tonight's proceeding.
As is typical for anything that has to do with Marcy Hamilton, I didn't even get to finish my salad. I want to welcome everyone to tonight's event. For many of you, this will be the first time meeting in person, and we're very fortunate to have you here at this fabulous event, 5 years for Child USA. It's hard to believe. And I'm just going to give a rehash of some of the things that I've said in the past because I haven't had any new ideas during COVID. But this organization is really a tribute to Marcy Hamilton. And that comes with, and she has a drink now named after her, I understand, and I think there's a Catholic diocese that they're going to name after her. But so my history with Marcy is very interesting because the other day I was going through my archive, my email archive, and there was an email in there from Marcy from like 2005. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's an email from Marcy from like 2005. And I remember distinctly thinking at that moment, who is Marcy Hamilton and why did she put me on this listserv, right? It was for the SOL reform in the state of New York, which, as all of you know, basically took since 2005, probably even longer. And the theme of my introduction tonight really is seize the moment. Seize the moment. And there's no one better qualified to seize the moment than Marcy Hamilton. 15 years ago, Child USA was just a vision to Marcy. And as the organization came together in the last 6 years, we were engaged in a process of branding. You know, like, what is the organization about? What does the organization stand for? What do we want people to know about the organization? And we were doing mnemonics, you know, ABC, XYZ, all that. And we came up with one, MMMDI. Marcy made me do it. Marcy made me do it. And as I look back on my history with Marcy, that is true, and it's probably true for many of you, right? Marcy made me do it. Now Mary Claire made me do it, but that's still the M, and I just met Mary Claire, who's really the engine behind. She says, I manage Marcy. How is that possible? Marcy made me do it. So Marcy made me do it in that, I don't even remember when this was, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I got invited to a conference in Southeast Asia to meet a very important funder. I'd never been to Southeast Asia. And I said, well, I'll go there on Wednesday and I will come back on Sunday, right? And I got on the plane and they said, we will be landing in 24 hours and 32 minutes. And I was like, well, how is that even possible to land in that's like a day of flying. So I flew off, Marcy made me do it, to Southeast Asia to meet with this funder, and flew back in 4 days, which no one ever does. And lo and behold, they became one of our largest funders and really, really help underwrite this organization, which is just an example of seizing the moment. Seizing the moment. And Marcy made me do it. When I made the fatal mistake of suggesting to Marcy that I sit down, this new organization, I don't really know what it's about, the Child USA, it's so nebulous. What is this thing about the SOL? And geez, Marcy, you really need some help because nobody's going to know what the hell this is. And so we sat down one day in her office at Cardozo when she still had a paying job. And I said, what is this organization about? And she started, telling me about this organization. And I said, well, maybe we should do this. That'd be a great idea. We'll do this. And, Marcy recruited me. She said, well, then, maybe you'll be on the board of directors, right? And I was like, oh, I need this like a hole in the head. But, seize the moment. I will do this. So I showed up for a couple meetings. And Marcy clearly detected that I was a little distracted during the meetings because I thought, one of these things, you show up and you shake some hands and write a few checks and then you get out and you don't have to do anything. To which Marcy said, well, I think you should be the president of the board of directors, right? I can see you haven't been paying attention. So Marcy clearly sees that moment and became president of the board of directors. And from the very beginning, I have to, true confession, that I was very skeptical of this notion of SOL reform, right? How many people know even what that is here? All right, oh yeah, nobody raised their hands, see, of course. So I was like, that's a nice idea, Marcy, but maybe there's some other things we could be doing, And lo and behold, when I met this funder in Southeast Asia, they said, we are looking for something that can change the narrative around child sex abuse in the world. You meet these people and they're like, well, that's a very nice idea, but in the world. So I said, well, you got to meet this woman, Marcy Hamilton. And lo and behold, Marcy, with her vision, persistence, and dedication to the cause, really presented this very idea of something that can change the world regarding child sex abuse. And she has done that as part of this organization, tirelessly pursuing SOL reform in places that she's not even aware of. It has taken over the world. Where Argentina, right? Seize the moment. Marcy said, well, there's Bill in Argentina. Do you think I could fly down tomorrow and get to the bill signing by Friday and get back by Sunday? I said, no, Marcy, you really can't fly to Argentina. Having flown to, Thailand in 60, hours, I can tell you that's probably not a good idea. So it is clearly a time and a place that the moment has been seized. And we really owe the success of this organization to all of you who are here tonight, who have not only joined us in this vision in terms of your legal work and your tireless advocacy, but also your dollars to support this organization that has literally grown from nothing. I think when I started, there was one employee, and Marcy was, selling concrete on the weekends, to, a multinational organization that is reaching people around the world and raising the debate across this nation on this very critical issue through the very simple notion of statute of limitation reform. So thank you very much for coming tonight. We really appreciate seeing you all in person. Some of my very own staff for the first time, which has been how crazy it is. And I encourage you all to seize this moment to support Child USA in whatever way you can, whether that be financial, through your efforts and support with advocacy, or through your donations, or joining me on the board of directors so that I can, instead of flying back from California at 3 a.m. today, it seems that Marcy has me in a time warp almost every time I do something for her, we'll get a chance to actually join California for a few days, and someone else could be the board of directors and work with Mary Claire to manage Marcy as if that's a possible thing. So thank you very much for coming tonight. Thank you for all of you that are watching this from home or from watch parties. We really appreciate you here in reality or virtually. Thank you very much.
Guys, big round of applause for James Marsh once again. Thank you for kicking things off, James. And they took your salad. And now this time, I want to highlight a couple things. But before I highlight a couple things, please enjoy this video.
Five years ago, lawmakers weren't listening to survivors or advocates. They are now. When I first started advocating for survivors, I soon realized we needed an organization that would put a legal department with a social science department, and that could change the world. What started as a hope that we could make a difference has turned into reality.
Today, Child USA is the organization that legislators, policymakers, and attorneys turn to for the facts on child abuse and neglect and for the solutions to protect children and hold institutions accountable.
We have successfully defended the New York, New Jersey, and Georgia revival windows, which are the laws that create access to justice. It's not only that we are getting our voice out in the legal and legislative space, but they are finally listening. We produced multiple reports this year to aid victims and their attorneys. Our Theories of Liability report essentially provides all the ways you can sue an organization for child sex abuse. This year, our team worked closely with Representative Wexton and Senator Gillibrand to draft 2 pieces of legislation that were introduced in Congress. Our annual History of Statutes of Limitations reform, our Discovery Rule report, our Survivor Toolkits, these were all created to efficiently answer the questions, can I bring a lawsuit, and how do we help the victims win?
Over the past 5 years, Child USA has conducted surveys, literature reviews, case studies, and analysis to produce the data that has helped change the laws across the country. Our vision is that our data will help attorneys bring justice to their clients, reform to the courts, and comfort and healing to victims. We are using what we've learned in the past to protect children in the future.
Everyone at Child USA is deeply committed to our mission, and we have grown our team each year, adding brilliant attorneys, social scientists, postgraduate fellows, and communications experts, who are all essential in our fight for children's rights. Thanks to this team, our Game Over Commission white paper will revolutionize children's safety in sports. And this year, we expanded our reach, taking on educational neglect to protect every child's right to an education.
Looking back 5 years, there's no question we have been fighting some of the most powerful organizations in the United States, and we're winning. But these organizations are not going to stop paying their lobbyists, paying their public relations firms, and aren't going to stop endangering children. And that's why we need you to continue to support Child USA so that we can continue to protect children.
To donate tonight and continue the effort of everything that Child USA does. Now, speaking about the effort that Child USA does, I just want to highlight someone real quick. I've got Janella in the back. If you're interested in learning more about our counseling and therapists, we actually have them in a separate room in the back. So, Janella, where are you at? Can you wave your hands in the air? Janella, is she in the back there? I see that's Janella right there. She can introduce you to our counseling and therapist, so then you guys can have a better understanding of exactly what it is that they're doing on a day-to-day basis. So, it is with great honor and great pleasure that I'm the one that gets to introduce to you our fearless leader. Guys, put your hands together and give it up for the one, the only Marcy Made Me Do It, Marcy Hamilton. Come on up. Can I escort you up, my dear? No problem. I'm going to escort you all the way over here.
Thank you.
Come on, let's keep the applause going. Come on, this is Marcy Hamilton, people.
They set this mic for Purnell, but... Well, let me just say that this room brings tears to my eyes. This is the army that's fighting for children. And that's the only reason I started Child USA. We have an amazing staff, but we are aided by all the crusaders that are in this room. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Those are my remarks. Now I have to do the remarks I was told to do. Anyway, so what you saw is an explosion of an organization in a mere 5 years to these brilliant people to be a think tank, just to think about these issues, study these issues, and create the data and the legal analysis that's needed to change the world. We're doing it, and I want to thank every single one of you for being here tonight and being a part of that. We hope you will be uplifted tonight. We hope that you will be moved by the survivors that have come forward and the heroes that have been fighting for survivors for so long. I just want to point out to you that we're statute of limitations reform forever, but we're also looking at medical neglect and educational neglect. This is really the civil rights movement for children, and I want to thank you for joining tonight.
So at this time, we want to thank all the sponsors and the donations that have donated, and we want to encourage all of you. There are several ways to donate right in front of you. If you look at your table, you'll see a couple ways that you can donate tonight. If you want to donate digitally, you'll see on this blue card, if you scan that QR code, you can donate any amount of money that you wish, or if you brought your checkbook and you feel like writing a lot of zeros next to a 1, you can use this envelope right here, once again, to make sure you donate as well. And we want to thank all the sponsors and donors. It's because of you that we can do any of this work that you see here tonight. So once again, a big shout out to Marcy one more time. Thank you for all it is that you do. And I want to welcome all of you. This is my second time doing this. Last year virtually. Who joined us virtually last year? Anybody joined us virtually? Raise your hands higher. Come on. Thank you. Guys, big round of applause for everybody who joined us virtually last year. That was a bit of a struggle. But you know what? Marcy made it work, as well as the rest of her team. So
I do miss the teddy bear audience. That was pretty cute.
The teddy bear audience did make it.
But it was a lot smaller than this group. So.
So I did make a couple announcements all throughout cocktail hour, but just so you guys know, for $100, you can enter to win one of 3 raffle prizes that we have. I mentioned fine jewelry. We have $3,500 in jewelry for just your $100 raffle ticket. This is valued at $3,500. It's an 18-karat white gold bracelet, a Chanel bezel set with 46 baguette cut, genuine sapphires, and 50 brilliant cut white diamonds. That's a whole lot of diamonds. That's all I'm saying, $3,500 worth of diamonds right there. Also, make sure you guys are entering in for the Peloton Bike Plus. I know some of you probably have a Peloton already, but it doesn't hurt to have a second one. Marcy, do you have one?
Yes.
Okay, I don't.
Unused, but I have one in memory of COVID.
It's better that way. That means you can work a lot more.
Yeah.
And that third raffle prize, once again, is a 6-night, 7-day trip. You get to choose from one of 4 Origin Hotel locations in Lexington, Kentucky, Raleigh, North Carolina, Red Rocks, Colorado, or Westminster, Colorado. And this includes round-trip airfare for 2. So make sure you guys are donating, giving your $100 for a raffle ticket, and make sure you guys are participating in tonight's proceedings. I want to give a big shout out to everyone joining us virtually. Guys, you take a look around the room. There's several cameras all around. A big shout out to all of our virtual people joining us. Big round of applause, guys. Yeah. Now, it's very easy to donate online. If you guys take a look at the chat, and this, I'm not talking to you guys, I'm talking to everyone up there. There's a very easy way to donate on the chat. If you take a look, all of our helpers here at Child USA are sending you links in the chat to donate. So make sure you guys are clicking on that link. And once again, if you're in person, please donate in person. And I want to give a big shout out to Video City Productions. Big round of applause for Video City Productions.
Yeah.
They have a staff, John and Erica. They do wonderful work for us. They help prepare a lot of the slides that you see here tonight, and as well as the Bellevue Hotel. Thank you to the Bellevue Hotel for having us all here tonight. So a big round of applause for the Bellevue Hotel. Now, Marcy, I think it's time for us to introduce our first award.
So we have 4 awards that we are giving this year, and they are each equally amazing heroes. The first award is the award of the night for the Sean P. Mckelmail Hero Award. Let's take a look.
I am Michael W. Mckelmail, along with my wife, Debbie Mckelmail. We are the founders of the Sean P. Mckelmail Statute of Limitation Research Institute.
The goal of the Sean P. Mckelmail Research Institute at Child USA is changing laws to protect the children.
Michael and Deborah's son, Sean, was abused by a priest that the Archdiocese had known about for 30 years. Unlike so many victims, he was actually in statute and was trying to pursue criminal prosecution. Tragically, he passed away before he was able to get that justice.
CAS embodies the goal of Child USA.
She's been doing this a lot longer than us. She's very tenacious.
She said, you're new at this now, but you're going to find out what has to happen is they have to change the law.
My husband and I really enjoyed our kids. It's like the perfect Catholic family. I'm on a different side of that now. My son's name is Jim, my second son. Big, strong, football-looking guy. Very caring, loving, nature-loving, God-loving person. We had a big Easter breakfast one morning. Kids were all over for brunch. Everybody left, and Jim was standing at the kitchen window, and the tears were just rolling down his face. Boston had just come out with their sexual abuse stories the day before. He said, "That happened to me when I was a kid." They never saw him cry so much. I said, "Jim, why didn't you tell us?" He said, "Father had told me that we were in on it. We knew what was happening. We needed the money." So he said, "I was afraid to go to school. I was afraid to come home." When I got older, I knew it wasn't true, but by then, I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to hurt you. And you were too Catholic. So, being the trusting Catholic that I was, we called the Archdiocese, spoke to Monsignor Lynn. He said, "Oh, we know about Brisky. Father Brisky was his perpetrator. We'll take care of it." And I trusted that they would. The Archdiocese offered money to settle. You sign an agreement to keep your mouth shut, and you're going to leave the pedophiles out in the street to abuse more children? I said, "How dare you?" Jim went before the grand jury. It was very, very hard for him. I said, "You sure you want to do this? This is tough stuff." He said, "Mom, I never wanted to happen to anybody else." There was nothing they could do. They were past the statute of limitations. And that's when I really got angry. We protested every first Friday in front of the Archbishop's office, 222 building, marching. I've done a lot of marching. Went to rectories, knocking on the door. "Where were you?" One of the priests told me, "I took a vow of obedience." We took the vow of obedience over the protection of a child.
People don't realize the toll that this has on victims and their families emotionally and physically. State and federal laws need to change to take this into account.
My boys would say, "Mom, let another generation pick this up. It's been a long time." I had 2 silent strokes over my anger. Child USA has just lifted that all up completely. And it's such a wonderful feeling after so many years of fighting.
We are inspired by Cass of the need for legal reform in order to make sure that what happened to Jimmy doesn't happen to anybody else. Child USA is dedicated to increase access to justice and to change the judicial system so that it is survivor-friendly and supportive and not a place where they feel left out.
These kids that we've lost never saw justice. I want these kids that are out there now to see some justice.
Cass? Cass, please come up if you can.
Guys, big round of applause. Give it up for Cass, please.
Wow. First, I would like to thank Marcy for your enduring work and your energy. I wish I had your energy. You've been such hope for all of us. Thank you. And Debbie and Mike, I'm here to represent your son tonight, Sean. Your friendship is always present in my heart, and I'm so glad we got together. I am overwhelmed and honored to have been chosen for this most prestigious award. yet deeply pained and scarred by the circumstances that bring me here tonight. The sexual abuse of children is a major epidemic going on in our country. A pandemic, actually, if one considers abuse on worldwide proportions. There are so many people, many of whom are here tonight, who have given their time, talent, and dedication to this ongoing fight for justice. I have been standing on the shoulders of the child advocates and organizations that have come forward to speak truth to power. It's been a long and weary journey for me and my family, actually a 40-year journey. I am humbled and grateful to accept this honor on behalf of my son Jim and all those who have endured the unthinkable. They came forward at great personal expense, all the while dealing with the trauma and the spiral of dysfunction that abuse inflicts. This award tonight is for all of them. It is with determination, grit, and the support of Child USA that there is hope for a better, safer future for our children. It takes a coordinated and organized effort, and of course, generous donations, to tackle the obstacles to obtaining justice for those who have no voice. I, for one, came to realize that my voice, my pain, my rage needed the backing, support, and networking of this organization. Your work is so important and needs to continue. My kids have often said to me, "Mom, it's time for the next generation to take up the fight." I guess they see me wearing out. How very proud and impressed I am to see so many passionate, dedicated, and determined young people on your staff. I truly believe that Child USA is providing a blanket of protection, support, and love over all of our children, and they will continue this fight. For all those who have walked this journey with my family and the countless other families affected by abuse, I thank you. And last, but not at all least, to my children and grandchildren, for the patience, support, and endurance you have shown over the many years. You have lifted me up and held me together. I am out and without words to express my love and gratitude to each of you. Thank you, and thank you for all coming tonight. Love you. Thanks. Thank you.
Guys, let's get a big round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
There's nothing like the power of a mother. Right, kids? My children are at the first table. No, they're hiding their heads. They're now embarrassed. And Mike and Deb Mckelmail are angels. I just want to tell you, they're an amazing couple. Thank you.
It's because of the work that Marcy does with the rest of her staff that we were able to even have this award in the first place. So with that said, let's hear from one of our sponsors for tonight's event.
Our goal is to make sure that over the course of the lifetime of this child, having suffered this horrific experience, that they'll be taken care of. And that's what drives us.
Suing was not something that I did. It's not about that at all. It's about holding the institution accountable for their wrongdoing.
There's a lot of people that are focused on monetary gain And I didn't feel that with Bob Allard and this law firm. I felt like their priority, in addition to vindicating me, was to take care of me and was to get justice for what was right.
Compensation is important, but equally as important is doing it the right way, doing it with dignity and honor, and representing your child the right way. And we do that. And more importantly, making sure that through this awful situation that happened to your child, we're making it better for others.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob. Okay. So, wait, I keep walking away from this foot-long microphone. It's a little intimidating. We are thrilled tonight that we have our international ambassador, Vinca Jackson, who is from Chile. Vinca is... Oh, here we go. You're supposed to be up here. So Vinca Jackson is the person who called me and said, South America needs SOL reform. She is a licensed therapist, but she's an advocate. She's working on Spain, Argentina, Chile, and much of South America. Vinca.
Thank you, Marcy. Good evening. It's a great honor. Muchas gracias por esta invitación. This is, okay, there. I'm very nervous, but I'm going to try to convey what I came to say. I met Marcy years ago. We gave a big struggle in Chile that lasted like 10 years to achieve the legislation to end with a statute of limitation for child sexual abuse. Around the 7th year, we gave an SOS call, I did, to Marcy, who I consider also a mentor, and she generously and without conditions came to our sort of rescue. It was important that she wrote and advocated for this. It is important, the work she has been doing for years, and all of you here. And I come as a survivor myself to express my gratitude. I come on behalf also of Derecho al Tiempo, the right to time that we created in Chile, and of No Más Abuso Sexual Infantil. Here, I mean, its director, Claudia Guerrero, asked me to express her gratitude too, and Red Sobrevive. These are organizations of parents, families, survivors who support the part of recovery and the part of access to justice. And we feel we're part also of something bigger, you know, that is irradiating to the Americas and the world. And also I wanted to share this announcement that makes me very happy. There's a book called Mi Cuerpo es un Regalo, My Body is a Gift, that since 2013 has accompanied many generations of children in Chile, and the recovery of some survivors too, because there's always a child within us. And thanks to all the efforts of prevention that Child USA and Marcy had engaged in, or have engaged, this is going to be available, open access, online, in English for Child USA and the work of prevention here. I'm on the tip of here, trying to reach the microphone, but thank you, Marcy, thank you, all of you guys. Probably many watched this movie called Spotlight. There's this African adagio that says it takes a village, a whole village to raise a child. And the lawyer in the movie says it takes a whole village to allow the abuse of a child. I would add, it takes a village to work on recovery, in healing, in making justice caring and part of a bigger ethics of care. And it takes a whole village to avoid this and prevent it and cultivate a different humanity. Thank you all for being part of this village.
Thank you, Vinka. So I have to tell you, it's because of Vinka that we have now started a page solely in Spanish for Spanish-speaking survivors. We will be translating as much of the information we have as possible. We're actively working in Argentina and working with the Hispanic Bar Association. Okay, so we are blessed tonight with a new award. This is the inaugural year for the Thomas P. Doyle Whistleblower Award. There couldn't be a better named award, given what Thomas P. Doyle stands for. And so, for the moment, let's take a look, and then I need the Thomas P. Doyle table up here. The Thomas P. Doyle Whistleblower Award honors those who have changed the world by watching and blowing the whistle on institutions that put children at risk. Bishop Accountability is receiving the Thomas P. Doyle Award because of their groundbreaking work in keeping the records alive.
I simply couldn't understand why this priestly culture was so important that we could hide from the evil in it. And violating kids is evil. Whether you're a priest, a pope, or a drug driver, it doesn't matter. So I just continued to do what I thought was right. As I said, I didn't even know what a whistleblower was, I think.
I first came forward in terms of activism in January of 2002 when the Boston Globe Spotlight team began publishing exposés in the Boston Globe.
Day after day, it seemed there were more stories that the Boston Globe put out about this issue, and it was really devastating to realize, holy crap, it is systemic.
Once the cover-up was exposed, the highest reaches of the church being involved in knowing deliberate cover-up of child sexual abuse, I realized the most loyal and constructive thing I could do as a Catholic, and the only stance I could tolerate, was to confront the church.
We gathered together because we were so distressed about this. The meetings that we had with survivors in particular were heart-wrenching, terrifying, but they were also experiences of togetherness in dealing with a situation that had begun in loneliness.
There's two basic issues. One is the priests themselves that violate kids. The much bigger one is the way the institution has responded with cover-up, with denial.
It's a system of institutional preservation and of priesthood preservation. They never surrender documents voluntarily. It always has to be by virtue of litigation. The crisis has been characterized by a terrible asymmetry of information. You know, the church has controlled all the information about abusers and allegations.
Terry and Ann have provided something that is absolutely unique. They have collected and put together the most extensive collection of documentation on the violation of children by Catholic priests that exists in the solar system. There's nothing like it.
One contribution I think that bishopaccountability.org makes is, in a sense, to make all of this real. It's the vivid reality of the witness that survivors provide.
And I think we contribute a little bit towards justice by correcting that asymmetry, by making it a tiny bit more balanced, by giving the victims the power of information about their abusers.
There are many people who come to bishopaccountability.org and are comforted and reassured that this has not been forgotten.
So the attorneys who represent victims are up against tremendous odds. Bishop Accountability has provided incredible resources, and they're a major part in helping to move along the essential research and the publication that needs to be done about this issue. Because the more that people know about it, the closer we're going to become to a time when it's minimalized as much as possible.
Bishop Accountability is empowering victims to be able to have the facts and data they need to win their cases. Terry and Ann and Susie have changed the world. They're amazing. Stand up, stand up, stand up. They are awesome. So let me just say, where did this award come from? Did we need any more awards? Well, Professor Leslie Griffin said we did, and she has endowed this award. So every year we'll be honoring Tom Doyle with the likes of the amazing Bishop Accountability. Thank you, Leslie.
Well, thank you, everybody. It's an honor to be here, and I want to start by honoring Marcy and Child USA, because I know, as many of you do, that her fight is an incredible, tough fight against very strong opponents. But fortunately, I know she is strong and fights a good fight and is unrelenting in working for children's civil rights. And so I'm grateful to her for all the work she's done. And what I've learned from you, you great people who are members of Child USA and support it, is I've learned how the survivors have suffered from abuse, but how that abuse has been made worse by the denial of the abusers and their churches and their bosses, this long pattern of denial of abuse, which has done such terrible things to so many survivors and their families. And I honor the few people who stood firm, and that's why I honor Tom Doyle, who was there at the beginning and fearlessly for all these years after writing the first report about the range of abuse, has stood there bravely and courageously protecting children's rights. And he is a great whistleblower and a man of courage, and I'm happy in his name to award people who are doing his work with him.
Thank you, Leslie.
This is pretty amazing. And to be in this room with so many giants and heroes is incredible. And thanks to all of you for all of the work that you do, especially the survivors that are here and those who aren't here, whose courage has made such a difference and woken folks up to try to also make a difference. I just want to say that we're doubly honored not only to get this award from Child USA, but that it honors Tom Doyle, who really, truly has been heroic. So just thank you so very much.
If you had told me 20 years ago that I'd be getting an award named after Tom Doyle, I would have found it inconceivable, and I still do, Tom. I have admired you for so long, and I can't imagine how lonely it must have been back then to do the right thing. But the fact that you've been so undeterred, so uncowed, I have just drawn such strength from that. And I'm equally in awe of the achievements of Child USA. I remember Marcy Hamilton, I think we were at a hearing for the New York State Legislature, one of many, and I remember her saying, eventually, this is about 15 years ago, eventually SOL is going to be repealed in every single state in the country. And I just keep refreshing that page I keep refreshing the page on the Child USA website, and just more states just keep appearing. The victories you are achieving, they are changing the landscape of what we know about abuse and about cover-up. And finally, I want to thank Susie and Terry. Terry is an absolute visionary who conceived of bishop accountability, and is his meticulous and fair and thorough approach to documentation is the reason we have such credibility today across the whole range of Catholics and survivors. And also, I want to just say about Susie that thanks to Child USA and the legislative changes you have enacted, so many more perpetrators have been identified. Our database of accused priests is managed by Susie solely and updated by her. It now lists more than 7,000 publicly accused Catholic church clergy. Thank you so much for this honor.
I'd like to add my voice to the thanks to the amazing Marcy Hamilton, the fantastic work that Child USA has done. Like Ann, I'm so moved to be up here receiving this award. Tom, in your name, you know how much you mean to us, how crucial you have been to our work over all these years, how crucial you are to everyone in this room and everyone who is fighting this fight. To be associated with you is an honor indeed. I'd also like to thank, in addition to the amazing Ann Doyle and Susie Nauman, our colleague Steve Sheehan, who's not here today, and also two survivors who are on our board, Phil Saviano, who's very ill right now, and I ask you to keep him in your prayers, and Lee Pottles, whose support for us in the early days especially really is the reason we survived it all. And those two survivors represent for us the survivors in this room, the survivors in the country, all over the world. We're very, very aware that as librarians, as archivists of the crisis, what we have gathered together simply would not exist without the survivors themselves. It's your courage, it's the courage of your families that have meant that these stories are preserved as they really must be, and it's our honor to help in that preservation. Thank you.
Guys, let's give a bigger round of applause for your recipients of this beautiful award one more time, guys. Now, I just got word from the staff here at Child USA. We are on track right now to hit that $500,000 mark. Right now, as we speak, we're at $321,000. So that's a big thank you to all of you right here who are joining us tonight. And for everyone joining us virtually, thank you guys so much for getting us that much closer to our goal.
And that's not me. My staff did not put my image on the thermometer.
Oh, that's right. Marcy, that's me, right? That's me?
Yeah, that's Purnell.
That's, totally
that's definitely Purnell in a blue dress.
And for everyone who parked here at the Bellevue, make sure you guys go talk to Mary Claire Milady. Where's she at? Mary Claire, raise your hand. Mary Claire has validation for all of your parking. So big round of applause for Mary Claire for saving you guys some money.
Yeah.
That's more money for you to donate tonight. You're welcome. Now let's hear another word from a sponsor.
Hi, Child USA. We would like to thank you for
standing up for those who cannot stand up for themselves,
giving a voice to those who don't have one,
your absolute dedication to getting justice for survivors of child sex abuse,
undertaking this critically important mission,
giving us hope for a brighter future.
Last year, at the end of our video, we had a cameo by none other than Tom Klein. This year, we're going to try to do even better if possible. We wanted to also include you, Marcy. Thank you for all that you do for survivors.
We've got all of our sponsorships lined up. This is going to be such a great event. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Is your Zoom call over?
Yeah, I'm off.
I need to talk to you for a minute. I can't sponsor this year's event. Last year's video got us 0 new customers, $0 new dollars in sales.
Are you kidding? Your products are going to be everywhere at this event. Like these hair extensions. There will be lots of people with hair extensions at the event.
You, Jill, and Mary Claire are not going to move the needle.
What about men's undershirts?
Why do you have Jane Marsh's undershirt?
He asked me to sew it. He's so cheap.
I'll talk to Fruit of the Loom about that.
Please do. You know, I shouldn't have to convince you to support Child USA.
Really? You think we can sell these Catherine Robb masks?
That's what you're going to look like if you don't write a check right now.
I'll just tell Jim Marcy made me do it.
I'm pleased to announce on behalf of myself, Slade McLaughlin, Paul Orcella, that the first 2 months of the royalties involving Act of Faith will be 100% donated to Child USA, Bishop's Accountability, and SNAP. They're worthwhile organizations, and I urge everyone to support them. Thank you, and good night.
Guys, one more big round of applause. Thank you very much. And I want to say thank you once again to all of our sponsors and donators out there. Once again, there are many prizes, many raffles, many things going on tonight. So we want to encourage all of you, please, if you did not have the opportunity to make a donation tonight thus far, please observe that blue card. You can do it virtually, you can do it in person. So make sure you guys are all checking out and making sure you're all donating to this great cause.
So our next award is the award for the voice for the voiceless. And I first want to say about this whole concept of the voice of the voiceless, I'd like everyone to give a hand for the incredible staff at Child USA. It's not just me. They are the voice of the voiceless. This award this year is being given to someone who extraordinarily basically turned in his father. Let's take a look.
I want to let the survivors know that I believe you.
This is Kai, one of Peter Nygard's eldest sons. Once thought to be the heir to the Nygard Empire, he is now a fierce defender of his father's accusers.
My name originally, how I was born, was Kai Bickle Nygard. My mom, Patricia Bickle, and my dad, Peter Nygard. When I was 3, they separated growing up with my mom, which was a totally different experience than the majority of my time. As I got older, I would visit my dad. I grew up really admiring my dad.
Most perpetrators of child sex abuse hide it. There is a special trauma that is inflicted on the child that learns that their parent is in fact a perpetrator.
In May of 2019, I attended a dinner party. He had someone that was staying at the house, and her daughter was also there, and she was very young. She was 8 or 9. It was interesting to me that he had her sitting in his girlfriend chair. Always to the right was the girl that he was gonna be flirting with for that night. I'm just thinking it's all weird and kind of creepy, and I just kept paying attention to that.
Sometimes perpetrators are so brazen, they will just abuse a child in plain sight. His father actually sexually abused a young girl in a dining room while the guests were standing up and leaving dinner to go play cards.
All the adrenaline hit and everything happened, and I went straight to the mom. I'm like, get her away from him. She pulled her away. That's when all the ideas I had about who he was and how far he might go and what he was capable of started to really get foundationally shook.
Kai Zinn Bickle says he's been bringing evidence against his father to the authorities, hoping it will help keep him behind bars.
I met Kai Bickle through our investigation of Peter Nygaard, the multimillionaire fashion mogul accused of nearly 1,000 sexual assaults in over 50 years.
I had to have almost like a funeral for the dad that I thought I had. And then what I was left with was the monster that I'm dealing with.
What we learned from Kai's story is that there is no limit to what a lot of money can do for you to protect you from justice.
Along the way, there were laws that it became very clear that these laws aided him.
He bought his way into the Bahamian government. The stories are just incredibly frightening as to the lengths to which he would go to silence his critics and anybody who came after him. It's not without danger that Kai does this.
I'll get attacked by him. I'll get attacked by his supporters and his lawyer for speaking up. But I think that silence is part of the problem.
Kai's bravery has empowered victims and survivors to come forward.
Kai brought a safety net to me that I could finally talk about this. I didn't have to live in fear, and I was able to speak out.
We are proud to be working with Kai on federal legal reforms that would create more access to justice for more survivors who have been victimized by wealthy individuals that can get around the law.
Our world needs groups like Child USA to advocate, to push, to change laws, to create a safer world for these kids. But one of the reasons there will be justice is because of Kai.
Well, for me, without Kai, I would have never found my voice. So he gave a lot of us a voice, and he's found his own voice. He has saved many people's lives.
Kai Bickle, guys. Everybody, big round of applause.
Kai could not make it tonight, and so...
So, would you mind explaining who Peter Nygaard is for everybody out there, please?
Peter Nygaard was a huge fashion designer out of Canada, making millions, who took many victims to the Bahamas and trapped them during ladies' weekends. He also fostered, through raping others, over 20 children, which are still in the sphere. And so Kai Bickle stood up against huge wealth, his own family, and we are so grateful to him for bringing all of these issues to us. And we are working on federal legislation that will change the way that individuals avoid justice if they're taken overseas, if the victims are taken overseas. So that's what we're working on with Kai.
And we will accept this honor for Kai Bickle. Now, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
I'm Jeffrey Prohl, Vice Chair of Lowenstein Sandler's Bankruptcy Department. As more and more charitable and religious organizations file for bankruptcy protection, we're honored to work with Child USA and Tort Council to help survivors achieve justice in the bankruptcy system.
The Barbara Blaine Trailblazer Award, which is
And while we stall for time, make sure you guys pull out your checkbooks, by the way. I'm looking at
Thank
this
you
deal
so
right.
much for this award. I accept it on behalf of the many other voices and participants on this journey who have been instrumental in this outcome. The work that Child USA is doing is so important. Along my journey, an acquaintance of mine, Corey Feldman, introduced me to Marcy. And I found this tremendous amount of support from her team and Child USA to do the work needed to make a real change in the world. I'm often asked, who were the greatest enablers? How did this happen for so long? And I've given it a lot of thought. the greatest enablers in this particular case and many others is the law. It's the legal loopholes that have been taken advantage of by powerful individuals or anyone that's able to. In this case, we had a jurisdiction loophole that we had to overcome, and we're working to craft legislation specifically to address that, as well as a flight risk issue and an issue on being able to use your voice in a civil suit without being sued and dragged across the court, financially weakening individuals and their lives by more powerful individuals. If we're able to make these adjustments, we're going to be able to ensure that in the future, things like this won't be nearly as easy to take place. I want to thank Chris Hansen for creating the Unseemly documentary and putting in work on this and his career of shedding light against predators. I want to thank my mom, Patricia Bickle, for putting me in a wholesome environment, overcoming stage 4 cancer, instilling in me these incredible values that she had, and getting up to grow up in her hometown. I also want to thank my 2 surrogate parents that I spent so much time with, Sue Crystal and the humanitarian icon, Billy Frank Jr. Both have since passed away, but their legacies live on, with Billy having national parks named after him and so much other wonderful accolades, really because he left a legacy of goodness and for fighting for what's right. My brothers who stood up and voiced their truth in this matter, it took a tremendous amount of courage, and all of the survivors who came forward both civilly and criminally. I've learned how difficult it is for people to recount these stories of terrible traumas, and for people to go and retell their story over and over again and put it out there is one of the most difficult things you can imagine. This award and these actions wouldn't be taking place without all of these individuals. And I'd also like to thank Greg Gutzler and Lisa Haba, the civil attorneys who tirelessly worked behind the scenes to make this a reality in terms of organizing all of the information and making sure that the appropriate people were connected to authorities and that their voices could be heard in a court of law. Thank you, Child USA, for the work that you're doing. Thank you for this award. And together, let's work together to change the world for the better.
We've spent many years developing an expertise in being one thing, a trial firm.
We have 5 doctor lawyers. That's irreplaceable in terms of its value to our clients. It's not easy to get a big hospital or a big company to acknowledge they've done wrong and to fix that which has caused an injury. But time after time, we've gotten that done.
Choosing Client Inspector is an easy choice. We have the record in the courtroom. No law firm matches ours.
All right, Marcy, I think it's time for the Barbara Blaine Trailblazer Award.
Yes, it is. So, the Barbara Blaine Trailblazer Award tonight, it's obviously named after a hero, Barbara Blaine, another pioneer, along with Tom Doyle, in trying to stop the abuse in the Catholic Church. We have Barbara Blaine's husband here with us here, Howard Rubin, who frankly is the reason that we were able to name this award. And okay, just making sure I'm not missing it. So tonight, this award is going to a group, this amazing group of survivors who paired with the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands to stop horrific sex trafficking. Let's take a look. The Barbara Blaine Trailblazer Award. which is an award in memory of a hero in the movement for child sex abuse victims, Barbara Blaine, who started SNAP. The Barbara Blaine Trailblazer Award is being awarded to 3 survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and the Attorney General of the United States Virgin Islands, who made the compensation fund possible. Once Jeffrey Epstein passed away in prison, the open question was, would there be any justice for his victims, hundreds around the world? And the answer was created essentially by one meeting. 3 survivors showed up in the Virgin Islands, sat down with the Virgin Islands Attorney General, Denise George, and by the end of that meeting, they were in tears, but they also had worked together to figure out a way to get justice for so many victims.
And I have a lot of experience in the prosecution of these types of cases, but I'll tell you, nothing can compare to hearing the first-hand accounts from these victims.
You know, as a 16-year-old making their own decisions, left to their own devices, I got myself into a situation that I felt like I should have known better. So I was, you know, ashamed and embarrassed.
Like so many survivors, Sabrina experienced both the sex trafficking aspect of this and then a delay in being able to deal with it. This is typical of the way in which trauma operates.
The whole reason that I went there to begin with was to give a voice to women who didn't have one.
This exploratory meeting really solved the problem, and that was, how do we get justice to Epstein's victims and do it fairly and make him pay? And the answer was the Epstein Victims Compensation Fund.
It became apparent in the early stages that the fund being created by the estate would not be in the best interest of the victims. It needed outside independent oversight.
The Attorney General made it very clear that she didn't want just a fund to be set up. She wanted something that would be trauma-informed and safe for the victims.
I knew immediately that Marcy was an invaluable resource in being able to provide independent expertise to ensure the fund operated in a way that was informed by and respectful of the Epstein survivors.
In addition, Child USA was asked to produce materials that would help to train those who worked on the compensation fund on trauma, sex abuse, sex trafficking, everything that those running the program needed to know. And at the same time, we produce materials for each of the survivors to take away with them.
Working to safeguard and protect others from trafficking and abuse is a large undertaking and only possible through partnerships such as those with Marcy and Child USA.
The Child USA team is now working directly with the USVI to create a program to prevent sex trafficking in the future. This is another example of how Child USA has been instrumental in increasing access to justice for victims of child sex abuse in one arena after another.
I can only hope that in the future, it will help other women feel confident enough in themselves to also understand that their voice will make a difference. And I will not let fear ever dictate my truth.
Now, Ann Jennifer Mastrogiovanni could not join us tonight, but we do have her acceptance.
Hello, I'm grateful and honored to be receiving this award. I'd like to thank Brittany Henderson and Bradley Edwards for creating and fighting so effortlessly for the Jeffrey Epstein Survivors Program. I'd also like to thank Attorney General George and Marcy Hamilton for making the Survivors Program a reality. Last February, I stood alongside 2 other brave, strong, and incredible women and exposed our most private and painful moments of our lives. We allowed our voices and stories to be heard on behalf of all the women who wouldn't have had that chance. By telling my story, I hope to prevent anyone else from having to endure the pain and shame that I had once felt. And this is why I have chosen to identify myself as a survivor. Don't let your abuse define you. Take back your power, let your voice be heard, and be the change that you desire to see in this world. Thank you.
We are honored to be able to honor the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands, Denise George, and survivors Sabrina and Pralaya, who will tell what this means to them. Amazing, amazing people.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I am really honored and really humbled tonight. First of all, I want to thank Marcy Hamilton and Child USA for the tremendous work that you do and how you touch lives each and every single day. So I thank you for that. I am both pleased and moved to be here today. As a career prosecutor, the work at the Virgin Islands Department of Justice and that my office has done in this Epstein case is particularly close to my heart. I accept this award for the entire team of prosecutors, the entire team of attorneys and professionals who've worked and are still working on this case and have worked so hard to try to assure that the victims are treated fairly and that the voices are heard. The work that we do and will continue to do both rests upon the aims to vindicate the resilience of survivors of trafficking and sexual assault. Some of these women are here today, and I stand here and I'm so glad to see some of them that I met before there at my office. I am so pleased and I am so touched. And they're here with their attorneys. I salute you. I salute you, and I stand here today humbled and fueled by your fight, by your dignity, and by your spirit. I and my office will continue to work to make sure that justice is done, and that along with Child USA, with whom we are partnering, at least for the next several months, in order to fight human trafficking, and so that we can prevent that the next case, or prevent the next case and the next set of victims from happening. That is our challenge, that is our promise, and that is my commitment. I thank you once again.
Thank you. I want to tell you that the 3 survivors, 2 here, 1 who is pregnant, not here. Yeah. But they had to think long and hard about going public. They really, really, I know for some of them had planned never to go public. And I want to thank them for being here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. So because I only operate in panic mode, I have it on my phone that I wrote at a bar today about 4 hours ago. But here it is. Okay. First and foremost, thank you, Brad and Brittany and Marcy. And I can't thank you enough. We all have a story. And each of ours, there is a piece of ourselves that we hide. It is a piece of our soul that we keep in the dark. It is kept in the darkness because we are afraid that our truth will evoke judgment, abandonment, and rejection based on societal, familial, and cultural expectations. Courage does not come to us in the absence of fear. Rather, The courageous are those who lean in. They lean into fear despite it. And that is courageous. Speaking our truth will shine a light on a path for others to lean in as well. To bring that piece of their soul into the light and out of the dark. So to every child and adult who are afraid to speak because fear has chased them into the silent darkness, please remember, even if your voice trembles, it is your truth, it is your story. One voice trembles, but it is your truth. One voice turns in to a pathway for 150 out of nowhere. And it's hard to ignore 150 voices. 150 voices shake the world into something that they can't ignore. Every story has an author, and that author carries the pen. We decide how our story ends. We have the pen. Share your story and hold tightly to your pen, and do not give that pen away. If you don't, your truth will be dictated by those who will gladly take the pen from you. Hold tightly to your pen and lean in to fear. It will free your soul, and it will shine a light on a pathway for those who didn't see it before. This is where the healing begins. Thank you to all who have encouraged me to lean in and take back my pen.
Lhasa, can you come up here, please? I'd like to share this award with my sister, because we do everything together, even the hardest things, and we do everything together, and so even coming here together and writing this together, so you should hold that. And I'm going to try to make this quick. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, and so it's a little bit long, and I'll try to talk as fast as I can, because it's important to me to get to say some things. First of all, I want to say thank you so much, Marcy. Thank you to Child USA and everyone who works with Child USA. Thank you so much for this opportunity to join you all today. I cannot express how healing it is to look around and see a room full of people offering us such an overwhelming amount of support and recognition. Thank you to everyone, as I said, as a part of Child USA for this honor. I'm in complete awe and admiration of each of you for all the work that you do. Knowing that there is a supportive network of individuals who are fighting for the voiceless makes me feel hopeful, makes us feel hopeful for our future in a way I have never experienced before. There is a widespread lack of knowledge and awareness about sexual abuse and how or why it happens. We have to recognize who is most vulnerable and how to protect them. My experience, our experience in abuse, like so many other victims and survivors of sexual abuse and sex trafficking, happened within the dark, neglected corners of society. These are places where children and teens are often forgotten, where people don't even think twice to ask if someone is in need of help because they simply do not know that the person is in danger. Throughout our abuse, we were never aware that we were victims and didn't know we were being sex trafficked. At the time, I thought that I should have known better, I should have been smarter. The guilt and shame in my thought process is something that I've come to learn is not unique to me, and that many others have had similar experiences and go through some similar thought processes. I'm confiding in you today because it is really important to me to expose this problem and change the way victims are treated by others, and more importantly, how they treat themselves. In a sense, the abuse my sister and I suffered started way before ever even meeting our abuser, and due to our circumstances, we were basically set up to fail from the very beginning, and so are so many children just like us. A multitude of systemic failures and seemingly impossible circumstances led us to be easily taken advantage of by a sexual predator. Those same types of situations still exist today and often allow children to become especially vulnerable to sexual abuse. Things like lack of education, domestic violence, poverty, low socioeconomic status, disabilities, substance abuse, and other pervasive issues allow so many children to be preyed upon and ultimately forgotten as they slip through the cracks of society. Our earlier life circumstances, like many children and adults of sexual abuse and sex trafficking, left us vulnerable and exposed to nefarious individuals like Jeffrey Epstein, who are known to seek out victims with these predispositions since they are easy targets. Social stigma is a large reason why there is a lack of widespread awareness on sexual abuse. Most people, survivors and victims included, won't talk about sex or sexual abuse because it's highly stigmatized. It leaves people who experience trauma to live in shame and forces many to figure out the aftermath on their own. A lot of people also hold a common belief that sex trafficking involves individuals who are held against their will and transported across a country's borders to be sold as, for example, sex slaves. But they don't know that sex trafficking is on the rise and involves as many as 50,000 women and children who are forced into sexual slavery in the United States. And I'm embarrassed to admit that until a few days ago, I also lacked most of this knowledge and awareness. I didn't know there were so many resources, hotlines, organizations like Child USA, and laws that have already been put into place to protect and care for sexual assault victims and survivors. I didn't know there were people who could have helped me, who could have helped my sister, who could have helped the many victims I met while knowing Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of abuse happened in the public, in front of individuals, and no one ever asked us how we were, or if we were okay, if we were in an unsafe situation. So people need to notice that these precursor vulnerabilities that enable children to be taken advantage of down the road. And hardly anyone is informed on how the daily operations of sex trafficking really work. Few people are aware of what a sexual predator might look like, and even fewer actually understand how they seek out and find their victims. The general public is likely not aware that children who have disabilities or who have only one parent or who experience educational neglect and domestic abuse, as my sister and I did, are prime targets for sexual predators. They don't know that sex abusers purposely seek out individuals from lower socioeconomic rungs rather than those higher up in society because they know they are less protected and therefore more vulnerable. So what is the answer and how do we stop this? We need widespread awareness of sexual abuse and sex trafficking and must work on addressing these misconceptions people have by destigmatizing sex trafficking and spreading social awareness on what sex trafficking is and how it works and who is most vulnerable. People who care about people who are vulnerable need to know of programs and people who can help them. We need to educate people that can directly influence children and help them protect themselves. Parents, coaches, teachers, individuals within the government organizations, law enforcement, municipal workers must be educated and armed with the right tools so that they have a holistic awareness and knowledge of what sex trafficking is, how multifaceted the problem is, and then must be able to recognize the signs of sexual abuse and slavery. We all need to know what a predator does rather than who they look like. Because just like victims, perpetrators don't always all look the same, and they are often the people you don't expect. They are often family, friends, teachers, or people who hold high positions of authority and respect, as we saw here today. Every person on earth has the ability to make a meaningful difference if they want. But the people in this room, each of you, have even more opportunities and the power to do what many cannot. You have the power to provide resources, create programs, change laws and policies that could result in meaningful and lasting change so that this generation and future generations won't go through what so many men, women, and children are going through on a daily basis in the US and around the world today. It is absolutely crucial that we all do something about these issues right now. Even if enough of us start to take action and begin to turn these issues around, the small changes we make could save millions of children's lives in the future. There is no time to waste. I'm sorry that was really long. It was really important for me to say that. This program is incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Let's do this.
I'm so glad you told
Thank you, Marcy.
Listen, anytime you guys want a job at Child USA, we're here. I got to teach some of my staff at that. Am I supposed to go over there now?
I'm going to do the, yes.
Oh, I'm supposed to go over there. Okay. I'm walking back to the stage. You know,
thank you, Marcy.
About 2 hours ago. So it's not enough that we have these amazing survivors and our amazing honorees tonight, but Child USA is delighted to announce that we are now going to be the beneficiaries of an endowed scholarship fund for sex trafficking victims. It's being established by Laura Newman, also an Epstein survivor, and Brad Edwards and Brittany Henderson are going to come up and say a few words, please. And apparently Laura is too, because Brittany told her to. So.
I think everyone knows that Jeffrey Epstein was a terrible person who did really bad things to a lot of people. But like any situation where somebody causes mass tragedy, there are courageous victims and survivors who take something really bad and do something really great. And some of the very best things that we have come up with to date to combat sex abuse and sex trafficking have come out of tragedy, and this is no different. Another courageous survivor who has taken her experience to do good for others and something that will live on forever, and that's Laura Newman.
Laura is bringing a new baby into the world, as everybody can see, and although her case may be over, her journey is just beginning, and it's very important to her that being a new mom, she makes sure that she protects not only her baby, but all future children who want to go to college and who have been through so much as survivors of sexual abuse, who find it hard to even move forward day to day. So she hopes that this scholarship will enable so many other people to be able to go to college with one less worry, which is financial. So if anybody here wishes to support the scholarship, please come and see Laura afterwards. She would love to talk to you and let you know more about how to get involved.
Actually,
Now she's ready to talk.
I'll add something. I thought I had so much to say when I got here today, and then I realized that I still need help. So thank God I still have Brittany by my side. But I just want to add that when I finally did go back to school, it was one of the most empowering things for me, because it gave me some sense of agency over my life, and it gave me something of my own, and I remembered myself again. And so I think I'm really excited about this. That there's been a lot of exciting things happening this year, including getting married, having a baby, but finding a home for this idea with Child USA is incredible. And so I do hope that anybody out there that believes in this would find it in their hearts to contribute, because I think this could do amazing things. I'm so proud.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. All right, don't fall.
Now, we just heard some very powerful words from some very beautiful people, but we also want to remind you, we have our Child USA staff walking around collecting your donations. So once you actually have made your donation, any one of our Child USA staff can walk around and retrieve that from you. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Thank you very much from our sponsors, guys. Big round of applause
Thank
for all of our
you.
sponsors for this evening. Now, Marcy, we're at my favorite part of the night. This is the night where you and I are stand-up comedians for the next 30 minutes. Is that,
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
Please buckle in. No, but seriously, this is the time now, at this moment, for us all to please reach down deep into our wallets. We just heard from some very powerful individuals who shared some very, very touching stories, and it's up to all of you in this room right now to make the difference here with Child USA. So, before we jump into anything else, can I bring that thermometer back? Can we bring back that Marcy's Bitmoji? I think we're at $327,000 right now. $327,000, but we're still have a long way to go to get to that $500,000 mark. So starting right now, I want every single person, please pull out your wallet, pull out your cell phones. We want to make sure that everyone's donating as much as you can. And Marcy, should we start our live ask? Are we going there right now? We're doing this?
Purnell, this is your job.
This is my
I'm
job.
here to be supportive.
So right now, I want to remind every single person, you have two different ways in front of you to donate. You have that little blue card in front of you that you can donate virtually, or you can go ahead and write a check, use a credit card, debit card, whatever is your chosen method of donating. And it's time to see that first achievement. We have the $25,000 level for our live ask. We're asking for $25,000. Who has $25,000 to donate to this good cause? This will get you to the SOL Institute. That's the Mckelmail SOL Institute, guys. Who has $25,000 to donate to Child USA right now? I'm going to stare at you until I see a hand go in the air. This is going to be like grade school right now. I know we have $25,000. I know we have $25,000 to achieve that Mckelmail SOL Institute award level. So once again, I'm looking at all of you. Marcy, I'm gonna leave my back turned until I see somebody achieve that level. Is anyone moving? Is anyone? Do I see a checkbook? Marcy, no?
I don't see a checkbook yet.
Is it?
No.
Does table 4 have a credit card out? This table. I'm looking at.
They better have a credit card out. Why did they come? No.
Once again, $25,000. And I want to share, we had a lot of touching moments and a lot of touching individuals come up here. But last year, just coincidentally, I was asked to be a part of this organization, to be a part of this night virtually. But little did Marcy know and the rest of Child USA that I was actually a victim of child abuse myself, just coincidentally. So I grew up in South Jersey where I was raised by my grandparents because my mother, unfortunately, was a single mother and passed away of HIV and AIDS at my age of 5. But I didn't stop there because I knew growing up that I was going to have to do more than the child next to me and the person next to me in order to achieve what I have today. So I didn't have anything growing up, but I have it all now. And it's thanks for people like Marcy and thanks to every single individual out there doing the hard work and doing everything that needs to be done to make sure people like me have a way out. So I thank all of you for all the work that you do tirelessly, day in, day out. So once again, I'm looking for $25,000, guys. $25,000. Who's going to make that leap? Who's going to be the first person to make that leap? No, we're not there yet? All right. We can always come back to that $25,000 level. Right. Let's go down to $10,000. $10,000. The fight against child marriage. That's the level that you can attain right now with a $10,000 pledge to this great organization. Once again, if you have $10,000 to pledge, more work can be done. Thank you very much. This handsome man with the blue tie. Thank you very much for your pledge of $10,000. Virtually as well. I want to hear virtually. Anybody else have $10,000 that they wish to pledge to this great organization?
I think Peter Kuzma has his hand up.
Peter has his hand up? Where's Peter at? Peter, raise your hand.
It's tough being married to me.
Once again, I've got $10,000. $10,000. I'm looking, the lights are pretty bright, so I'm looking at all the way in the back. $10,000. Who has $10,000 to dedicate to a great cause? We're going to move on to our $5,000. Our $5,000 level.
Now this is easy, right?
Easy. $5,000. What's $5,000?
I don't know.
2020 was kind of tough for me in the entertainment world, so I'm not going to give $5,000. I'm going to be more like the $100 level, but that's only because of my industry. But once again, who has $5,000? $5,000. I'm looking for a hand in the air. Child USA, let's make sure we're on the prowl. It looks like we're a little shy tonight. All right, I'm gonna have to come down here. I'm gonna come down here. Who's got $5,000? This guy has something in his hands right now. That's $100,000, right? Yeah, he's got the $100,000 level. Once again, I'm looking for $5,000. This young man right here just pulled out his credit card for $5,000. Who else has $5,000? Anybody have $5,000 to donate? $5,000. One more time. Going once? Going twice? Hey, are you going to let him show you up? You can't let him show you up like that. Oh, he's part of I got it. He's part of the 10. I got it. Once again, going once. Going twice. Let's move on to our next level. That's $2,000. Who has $2,000? That's from the federal law reform to accommodate the needs of CSA victims in BR proceedings. $2,000. I know you have it. Who's got $2,000? I'm looking. Is this table right here? Am I in this table? Yeah, no. The board of directors, I get it. He's like, I already do all the work. $2,000. Once again, I'm looking. Mary Claire, I can't see all the way back there. Is anyone raising her hand, Mary Claire? Do I see any hands? $2,000. Once again, $2,000. Going once? Going twice. Guys, this is an amazing evening put on by Child USA for all of you. So keep in mind, we want to do this every year, but that involves you donating. One last time. Going once? Going twice. We have an anonymous $2,000. Guys, big round of applause for our anonymous $2,000 donor. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And once again, before we move on to the next one, make sure you guys are donating to the raffle. Once again, for $100, you can enter our raffle where we're giving away 3 of those big prizes to $3,500 in jewelry. We've got that 6-night, 7-day trip. And we also have that Peloton Plus, which is actually pretty awesome. On to our next one. Our next one's for $1,000. Who's got $1,000? I should probably see at least 5 hands go up in the air. $1,000. That's 1 of 5 hands that go up in the air. Thank you very much, guys. Big round of applause to that young lady right there for committing $1,000. Do I have another one? $1,000. $1,000. And I want to bring it back real quick. I just got a message from Child USA, the staff. $25,000. There's a $25,000 donation from Nicole and Bob Allard. Guys, big round of applause for Nicole and Bob Allard.
Woo! Thank you, Bob.
Once again, I'm looking for $1,000. $1,000. What's this table up to? What are you guys up to? You guys just hanging out? Yeah. I like his. He's got the necktie loosened up. Yeah, he's getting loose. Once again, $1,000. Going once, going twice. Sold. Guys, that brings us to our next one. This one should be a little bit more easier to attain. $500. $500 makes a difference. Once again, $500 for the battle for children's right and education. $500. I got one commitment right there. Guys, big round of applause. $500.
Yay.
For the guy who left his tie at home, and he looks great doing it. I like your haircut too, sir. Once again, $500. $500. I'm looking. Who's going to commit $500 out there? Child USA staff, make sure you guys are helping me out. $500. $500. Going once. Going twice. Sold. Guys, I want to remind you, we have our wine pool also in the back. Our wine pool is in the back. One ticket costs you $25. You can get 5 tickets for $100. Once again, it's a wine pool. That means you get a random bottle of wine that can range from $30 all the way up to $300 for a bottle.
Actually, there's one bottle that's $6.
There's one $6.
Yeah, but it does go all the way up to $300.
That's my bottle of wine. No one gets that one. That's my bottle. Once again, going once, going twice. $500
sold. On to our next category. We have $250. $250, ladies and gentlemen. That's to help publish the Game Over Commissions report. $250. I've got a commitment right here. $250. Big round of applause for the lady in black. Woo! Let me see. Any other hands? I'm looking for hands back there. $250. My name is Purnell, by the way, so you can yell out my name and be like, Purnell, I want to donate $10,000. $250. You guys are going to make me come back out in the crowd, huh? I don't mind doing that. $250. I'm looking. $250. And guys, by the way, don't limit yourself to donating tonight. You can always donate the 364 other days of the year, but tonight is the exception where you donate the most. Help us hit that $500,000 mark. I'm trying to see Marcy's Bitmoji go crazy. I want you to see you go over the 500,000. Once again, $250. Going once. Going twice. Sold. I want to move on to my $100. Who has $100? I know every single, there
right
we go.
There.
I got $100 right here. This young
There's
man
one.
right here. Big round of applause to this handsome young man from this table right here. I got $100, Child USA. I got $200 over here. I've got more over from this table over here. Let's get someone from Child USA right over this table, right over here. I've got two $100 donations. I've got another $100 donation. This beautiful young lady, another $100 donation. Child USA, I can't even keep up right now. We need more staff members. This is awesome. Once again, I got another $100 right here. Who else? Someone from the back. Someone from the back. Let's see. I'm looking for $100. $100. Oh, I see. We got Gail Marseth. Did $500 on Zoom. Guys, Gail Marseth, $500 on Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Gail Marseth for $500 via Zoom. But we're still at $100 live in person. So let's take a look around. Going once. Going twice. For this next one, I should see, there's 250 people here, right? 250? 100?
50.
Got it. I should see 150 hands go up then. Because this next one is for $50. $50,
Okay,
guys.
this is your Starbucks money.
This is Starbucks.
So,
for a day? For a day or 2 days. $50 covers the cost of filing amicus briefs. So once again, $50. I know we all have $50 that we can donate to this great cause. And if you've already donated, do it again. Who cares? I'm looking for $50. Looking for hands being raised out there. $50. Do I see anyone back there? Right there. Thank you very much. We have a $50 donation back there. Anybody else? $50. $50. Guys, we don't want to wait 365 more days to get back here to try it again. Let's try it tonight. Once again, $50.
That's it.
One last time, $50. $50, especially my people on Zoom. If you have $50, there are several different ways. $500 right here.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, we got $500 from that table right behind here. They're like 50. That is zero. 50. Once again, $50. $50. And if you guys did not hear the announcement earlier, Mary Claire Milady, who's in the back, has your parking validation. So make sure you guys see Mary Claire in the back before you leave tonight, as she does have your validation. One last time, $50. Oh, I got $50 right here. Here, I'll actually take that from you, sir. There you go. You guys should, everybody should be doing this more often. Everybody should be doing this more often. $50 from this young man right here. Oh, we got, that looked like a lot of envelopes, so I'm assuming that's like $1 billion right there. Once again, $50, $50. Hey, Child USA staff, can we bring that thermometer back up? Can we bring that thermometer back up? I want to bring the Marcy Hamilton Bitmoji. That makes you feel guilty. That should make you feel guilty. The fact that Marcy's pointing to 500.
We haven't adjusted it yet.
And it's not there yet.
Yeah. What's here has not been done yet. So,
Once again.
thank you, Purnell. And you know, the first 3 events we had, I forgot to ask for money. So I'm very grateful to have Purnell with us tonight. I did. I thought I was putting on a symposium. I didn't know. So I'd really like to welcome to the stage Richard Tollner. He is the treasurer on our board of directors.
Richard Tollner, come on up.
Hey, Richard. Thank you very much. I want to make sure that doesn't stay. Yep. Here, let me move this over. There you go. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for your attendance this evening. Your dollars and your labors are very much appreciated. Now we have another item to offer, and it's a board of directorship here at Child USA. A lot of people in the audience remember the movie Wall Street. You had Michael Douglas as Gordon Gekko saying, "Greed is good." And what he meant was how greed fuels business and industry towards profit. Now, the interesting thing about that is Child USA has taken a more sensitive approach to greed is good with the phrase, need is good. Imagine someone out there, many of you as a matter of fact, are the leading people in your industry or the business sector, where you're highly regarded and your desire for career enhancement is strong, but how many more clients could you get? How many more billable hours or dollars could your company earn? And yet, you have the opportunity and the desire to improve your image. Child USA is the leading national think tank for the protection of children in the United States of America, and if you don't know it by now, also the world. We need the highest caliber of people who are frontline professionals to continue our goals as we grow exponentially year after year. You see the growth of our briefs, you see the growth of our employee status, you see the growth of our interns, you see the growth and the opportunities that Marcy brings to the legal marketplace, as well as taking care of all different types of ways to protect children in different countries and multiple states in the United States of America. So what we're looking for is the highest a person in the highest points of their career who said, I need to go to the next level. You all have competitors. Some of you even have detractors, and you know you have peers that you want to keep up or get ahead of. If you think about it, there's one way to go to the next step. When you choose to be on one of America's strongest boards for the protection of children, and if you think about it, your most valuable asset is money, reputation, or is your own? There we are. Thank you. Your own children and the children of people you know and care for, your coworkers, your employees, your own family. When you choose to be on this board, you know you've made the next step up. You've gone to a higher purpose, and you've also drawn more attention to yourself, something your competitors haven't done, something that your peers are not able to do. But yet, if someone out there is your competitor or your detractor, and they say, look how well you've done with both your career, the awards, etc. But now you can put onto that you're a member of the Child USA board. We say need is good. Therefore, join us.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Richard.
All right, guys, this is your last opportunity right now to make a big commitment to this organization. So if you have not had the opportunity to actually donate tonight, do know you can do it any other day of the week, but tonight, let's make it a point. So once again, reach deep into your wallet and make sure you help this cause as much as you can.
I am delighted to announce that we are joined again by the amazing hero, violinist, and survivor, Laura St. John, who will now help us to close the program.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. It's quite poignant considering the place that I was raped as a child is 5 blocks away, the Venerable Curtis Institute of Music. They shut me up for 34 years until, with the help of the Philadelphia Inquirer and Cozen O'Connor, we blew the lid off that school in 2019. And then I met Marcy. This is dedicated to Child USA, its staff, the indefatigable Marcy Hamilton, and all my fellow survivors.
Isn't she amazing? Yeah. So let me just close by saying that none of tonight would have been possible without my staff. And most importantly, my executive assistant, Mary Claire, or my EAMC. Mary Claire, where are you? She made this happen. She told me it had to be here. And now I just do what I'm told. And also Jillian Ruck, our executive director, amazing. But listen, we had social scientists, lawyers, the whole staff put this together. So from my heart to this amazing organization, thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for coming.
And guys, just a quick reminder, Stephen Rubino's book, Act of Faith, the proceeds are going to Child USA, but we are trying to get their goal to 10,000 copies. So if you did not have the opportunity, the book is right there in the back. If you did not have the opportunity to pick up a copy of your own, make sure you do before you leave here tonight. Targeting 10,000 copies. And remember, once again, proceeds are going to Child USA. So make sure you guys are definitely grabbing yourself a copy on the way out.
And the same is true for Brad and Brittany's book, Relentless Pursuit, which, by the way, I saw Times Square, Brittany larger than life, which was pretty cool. Yeah, just amazing.
And make sure you guys, if you had not had the opportunity of turning your donation envelope, make sure you do now if you did slide something in there. Once again, we are going to announce our raffle winners in just a few minutes, but we want to make sure that you guys have slid all your donations over to one of the staff members here at Child USA. So if you have not done so, make sure you do so now. And one last time, make sure you stop and see Mary Claire Milady before you leave here tonight. She does have your validation for parking, and parking in downtown Philly, I know, costs a fortune. That's why I don't live here anymore.
So the most important part of every meal is dessert. Dessert will be over there with coffee. I want to thank all of you for being here, and thank you for what you do. Take care.